my name is Alessandro Galli. I'm come from Italy, and I work at Global Footprint Network as a senior scientist. And basically, my role is to lead the process of calculation of the national footprint accounts, and also lead the improvement of the ecological footprint methodology. We are saying that our demand has constantly increased in the last 45 years. Let's put 1961, 2005. And this is the world average increase of humanity's demand for resources. But then actually there are two important components on this. Is either per capita consumption that is playing a huge role, and population. Let's say that what we see is such an increase in the EF per capita and such an increase in population. Of course, like in different areas of the world, these two drivers, consumption and population, are playing a different role. So in high-income countries is consumption that is increasing, and our society, Western society, are like a stable population. And then you have low-income countries on the opposite side that have mainly a decrease in per capita footprint in consumption, but a population that has more than doubled, in some areas tripled in the last 45 years. So I'm just saying it is hard to speak about population, but it's not by skipping the population issue that we can solve the resource issue. You have a bank account. Your bank account is giving you, let's say, 1,000 euro of interest every year. So if you are able to live out of the interest, you are in a good position and you don't deplete your bank account. But if you start to consume 2,000, 3,000 euro in a year, basically you spend money from your bank account, and the next year you will get less interest. We have a forest and 10 hectares of forest. So every year, because of photosynthesis and the capacity of the trees to sequester CO2, they build biomass, they increase. And this increase is limited. You have a given amount of forest. This forest can grow just up to a certain point. What we measure is the annual growth, okay? Both in the biocapacity and in the footprint terms. So when we say that we are using 30% more resources than they are actually available in the year, it means, coming back to the forest example, that there is a given amount of biomass that has been generated, that has grown on the forest, and let's say this is 10 tons of biomass, but we harvest 15. So how it is possible that we harvest 15? Because we cut all the annually grown biomass, plus we cut the part of the standing stock of resources. And these mean that in the next year you will have less. You are in an overshoot situation when the resources that you have available, both like a global level or like a national level or in your local level, are not enough to satisfy your needs. Okay. The problem is that the human societies and the human economies now is really highly globalized, so it is possible to import everything you don't have locally. And that's why like rich countries are able, through money, to buy they can buy all the biocapacity they don't have locally. So if you don't have resources available on your nation, you can import them. If you run an organization, okay, and you want to plan, let's say, the activities of next year, what you are going to do, you need to know how much money you can spend. And the same we could say if you run a nation or a city and you want to plan this city, it is important to understand what is your ecological budget, how much resources you have, on how much resources you can rely, either locally available or imported. But you need to understand what is your budget. The more we go into a future that is characterized by resource limitation, even if we say it, at the moment we are not actually able to see the effect of overshoot in the daily activities. But the more we go towards a future that is affected by resource limitation, the more we will have to really focus on what this resource limitation is. So that's why it is important to have a way to measure these limits. Having in mind that at the current situation we are using more than we have, and estimation are telling us, indicating us that in the future the situation could be even worse, how we can start right now, before it is too late, plan our infrastructure, our cities in a way that will require in the future less resources. And it is essential to think at these in this very moment, because let's say when you build a building, I would say, like in the Western world, on average, a building may have a lifespan of 7,500 years. So the way we plan this building now, it will affect the consumption of water and electricity inside this building for the next 7,500 years. If you cut your hair faster than they grow, at the end, one day you will be bald.